Hello, hello. This is the episode 4 of Mr. Fastcast, starring me, the Red Diamond, aka Sendu of Light Studios. Not much to say in updates. It's, not been that long since the last episode came out, actually. But it's still a monthly show. I just happened to get the 2 interviews, week by week, so, hey, February comes early. This time around, I've got an interview with good old Hemrawc. He's kept in contact with me, friendly guy, actually, through emails and stuff. So, I figured it'd be really fun to sit down and have a conversation, and, this guy has not lost his touch since the Retro League. Yeah, a lot of fun talking. This definitely feels like the old podcasts we loved back in the day. Our topics go all over the place, though it was supposed to be about the trip to and from Windows. It ends up turning into PlayStation at one point, and one thing I do want to say before that is, at one point we talk about the PlayStation TV, and I was dead wrong about what it is. What it is literally just a Vita for the TV. But you can actually play PlayStation 1 games digitally on the Vita. So, that makes it still better than the PlayStation Mini. Isn't that a thing? Yeah, I actually did recently pick up a PlayStation TV. I got it at a pawn shop for $30. Which is amazing because it was $30 I got paid to drive people to that pawn shop and back, and a couple other stops. But that was a good day. I hooked it up, plugged in my old memory stick, and it's working good. I had to do a factory reset to get rid of the old account because it was password protected, but dang it, it's working. Meaning I can actually record Vita now and might do some articles on that. In fact, I know I am because I got one I gotta do now. It'll come out in a couple weeks, hopefully. But enough of my silly nonsense. Let's get on with why we're here. This is Hemrawc, and it's gonna be a blast. And we're back. I said that for you, Alex. I'm here with the legendary Hemrawc. How you doing, man?
Hey, doing well. It's very generous of you.
Oh boy. Well, this topic was your idea. We all started at Windows, most likely, and then switched away, tried to get away, and got dragged back. I know at least 2 other people who have that story, including my older brother. So what's your story?
All right. Well, like I mentioned to Sindhu before we started, I might sound a little mellow. Trying to keep my voice a little low. My daughter's sleeping close by, so I don't want to wake her up. But in any case, I also mentioned that I've turned to the dark side. I've gone back to Windows. So if you've kept up with TCR at all, you may have heard me pipe in once in a while talking about Linux. And I think for a few episodes, CF tried to talk about Linux here and there and the Linux tip of the week or something like that. And I have a huge amount of respect for the Linux community and what they're doing. And I just kept running into issues. And so for better or for worse, I decided to purchase a new computer. And with that purchase, move back to Windows. So now I'm using Windows 10 as kind of my daily driver, if you will. Previously, I was using a version of Linux, Manjaro. As the Manjaro distribution. There's a lot of great things about it. I was running into a problem where it wouldn't update properly. Sometimes when I have to do really simple things like hook up a printer, I'd spend an hour online getting a computer science degree and then another hour trying to figure it out and tinkering with things, and finally it would work. And then a week later it wouldn't work and you got to tinker with it again. And it was kind of a breath of fresh air when I turned on this Windows system. I was just able to plug and play. Now, granted, there are some privacy concerns. I know there's some critiques about Windows and how they're collecting data, and I've tried to make some changes where my privacy is a little more protected than perhaps the standard Windows 10, but, that's unfortunately the price that we're paying these days. But at the moment, I just got a new computer with Windows 10, and to be honest, I'm actually kind of liking it. Nice to get back into Windows. Now, granted, I use Windows at work, so I've been totally separated from it, but typically didn't use it much at home. So I look forward to games working the very first time without configuration.
Yes.
Just to give you a little bit of historical context, back in probably 2011, I had switched from Windows Vista, I think it was, to Linux Mint. And so that was my first dive into Linux. And I used that for, I don't know, maybe 6 months to a year. And then I went back to Windows, and I think it was Windows 7. And then for whatever reason, I got bit by the Linux bug again. So I jumped back to Linux Mint. And then that was probably one of my longest stints. I want to say I was on there for at least 2 years, maybe a bit longer. And then recently, when I kind of switched up my computer operating systems, well, mind you, I forgot to mention I was dual booting Windows 10 with that Linux Mint distribution. However, I didn't use Windows 10 very often at all. I would say I was like 90%, 85, 90% on Linux. And then when I switched up again, I went to Manjaro with the Windows 10 dual boot. But still, it was 90, 10%, 80, 20, something like that, mostly Linux. And now I don't have a Linux boot on this computer at all. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
It always comes to the video games. My older brother had his own laptop when he first got it. He put Linux on it. He just loved Linux. He just wanted to play games and eventually was forced to switch back. And with me, I used Windows most of my life, but when I was in college trying to get a graphic design thing, that went horribly wrong, but story for another day. They were using Mac there, so I ended up, my first desktop was actually a Mac Mini, but worked just as well. And cool. I got that in like 2014 or 15. You liked it because it was actually a lot more stable. It didn't crash so much when editing images and videos. Oddly, the hardest thing to get used to was, in every window, the X minimize and full screen's in the top right. On Mac, it's on the top. It's on the top left. Yeah, that took some time. And also, every menu is like attached to the top screen instead of part of the window. But the more my Steam library grew, and so many games I couldn't play, Steam actually has a way to categorize Mac games. Although one funny story was Metal Gear Rising, which runs perfectly on Mac. And ironically, the official port uses wine bottle. You know what that is?
I know what wine is for Linux. I'm assuming wine bottle is the same thing for Mac.
It's the thing that lets you run Windows on them, kind of.
Yeah, it's like Windows emulation, but it's not emulation, whatever that means.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Sadly, I couldn't even get that to work when I tried to use it. Every time it launched the game, but as soon as I clicked, it crashed.
Yeah, that's frustrating. I will say that they have made huge strides in compatibility when it comes to Linux and gaming, particularly with the new Steam feature that allows you, well, essentially there is a compatibility filter built into Steam. So any Steam game, even if it just runs on Windows, you can try to run it through that filter. And I had great success with that, and it's continuing to improve as time goes on.
Well, the timing's much because Steam is no longer going to support that version of Mac, and I cannot for the life of me update because iTunes is a piece of garbage.
Man, I haven't used iTunes in so long. That brings back memories, man.
Not just music though. On the Mac desktops they use it to update everything on the PC. So if you don't have your account completely figured out, guess what?
Huh. Wow.
A lot of stuff on Macs you can't just download right from a website. You got to use their app store.
Yeah, and that's...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say Apple is super protective like that.
Yeah, and there's good things about that because it does add a layer of security. And that's why, or at least perhaps partially why, Macs don't have as many viruses and security issues like Windows users have. You reminded me that actually it was through iTunes that I got into podcasting. Like that's how I found my first podcasts to listen to, was through iTunes, because that's where it was at. There was iTunes, and there was like Podbean, I think, was that it? Or there was some like Podpickle. There was a few out there, but I would say there's only maybe like 3 or 4, and 80% of it. Oh yeah, Podomatic was definitely there. Although that was more underground, I felt.
Podomatic automatically added your tracks to iTunes. Podbeam is what I think TCR started on before it was just Mega Upload. I mean, after that.
Right.
And there, of course, there was mypodcast.com, which I think is shut down now. A lot of these kind of just went the wayside when YouTube got rid of their time limit.
Yeah. That really changed the podcast culture because actually, to be honest with you, I found it more difficult to actually find MP3s to listen to because everybody throws everything on YouTube, and I typically don't have the time to sit in front of my computer and basically either watch a blank screen or just watch webcams of people talking to each other. I just want to listen to it, like when I'm
Oh,
going for a jog or when I'm driving. And it seems like these days people don't make the MP3s easily available.
I
Uh,
think I think part of that is because it is a fact 60% of YouTube audience is mobile, and you could just use your phone and stream it.
I don't have unlimited data, so streaming video really drains your data. So
Kind of, yeah.
so that I mean, there are ways to try to get MP3s off of YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes that's the easiest way to listen to some of these podcasts if you want to listen to them without watching the video.
Well, see, the issue with me was I never had an iPod or an iPhone, so I've never had an iTunes account before getting that Mac.
Oh, I see.
I never set it up properly because I kind of just ignored it for a while, and it's doing this thing where it keeps autofilling the username even though it's wrong, and I can't change it.
Oh, that's rough.
Just sad. That thing still works just as well as when I got it. I got it hooked up in another room, but last year I got my tax return and built me a nice gaming PC, which is Windows 10.
Oh,
Keeps
cool.
making that noise like the old dial-up modems made like, but it's working pretty well. It's what I'm using.
There might be a problem there, Sindhu. Might want to look into that.
I think it's because I didn't get that water cool thing. Anyway,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those water coolers, they're nice. Or liquid cool, whatever they call it these days. Whatever the cool kids are calling it.
I don't know, and I'm not referring to the thing that gives you a nice cool drink.
Yes, I know. You also reminded me of another point I want to mention is there's a couple different key expiration dates, video game related expiration dates that I think are important. So January 1st, 2019, I believe is when Steam cut off support for Windows XP games.
Oof.
And that kind of scared me because one of my computers that I don't really hook up to the internet much, and to be honest, I don't really play it that much, but it is Windows XP. And that's where I have my ongoing game of Morrowind. It's probably a couple years old now. I mean, it's not super old, but like that, when I want to play Morrowind, I hook up that computer and it's played through Steam. And so my fear was I would not even be able to get the game going offline. So when January 1st rolled around, I hooked up that computer to see if it would work. And lo and behold, I got it to work. Now, granted, I did not sign on. I didn't hook it up to an internet connection. I didn't sign on to Steam. I signed in offline, where if the games are saved onto your system, they should still play. So I think as long as I don't hook that computer up to the internet, I should be able to play my Morrowind game indefinitely.
Probably. That was a loophole for the family sharing for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the thing was if the owner of the games is playing, no one else can, but if said owner is playing offline or other way around, then there's no restriction. They eventually patch that out.
Interesting.
So now.
Yeah, I'm afraid the next patch that comes out is going to patch out all my games on that Windows XP computer. So
They can't patch it if you stay offline.
exactly. But I was afraid of somehow they built in a patch to an earlier version. You know what I'm saying? And that it was time sensitive. And then once January 1st came around, it would kick in. And then in your Steam client, it would just disable the game somehow. I'm not sure exactly how that would work, but I was afraid something like that might happen. Even if I hadn't downloaded a new client or new update.
Where does this leave Vista? I'm sure someone out there still has a Vista.
People still use that. Oh, Vista. The
one where when it first came out, everybody immediately downgraded to XP.
Another important date I want to mention is the end of the Wii Virtual Console. Now, I know this has been ongoing because we've already passed the date of the last time you can purchase Wii points. And to be honest, I don't even remember that date. I think it was back in March of 2018. But now, at the end of this month, I think it's January 31st, you can no longer purchase anything on the Wii Virtual Console or anything digital on the Wii. They're shutting it down. So even if you had points, even if you had $100 of Wii points, it's gone. So, do everything you need to do now. If you need to re-download your games, if you need to use any points that you have. Now, granted, you can't buy new points, but if you happen to have them already in the system, I believe you can still use them, at least for the next couple days Although that might have expired by the time you listen to this podcast.
I wonder if you can work around that by redeeming one of those gift cards.
I don't think so. I don't even know if you'll be able to get onto the virtual console anymore. You won't be able to listen to that lovely, lovely music.
Do they really want us to hack our Wiis that badly?
It is a bit troublesome because a lot of those games you cannot purchase anywhere else. Like the Rebirth games, Contra Rebirth, Castlevania Rebirth. I think there was a Gradius Rebirth, maybe. But I don't believe there's any legal way of obtaining those games besides the Wii Virtual Console. So my hope is that they're going to re-release them on the Switch. Because to be honest, I don't have any of the... Wait, do I have... I don't know if I have any of the Rebirth games.
Oh, man.
So I'm hoping that Nintendo will see that there's still a market for that and put them on the Wii to purchase. I don't want the Netflix where I log in for $6.99 a month and can access it. I want to own it, or at least own it in a digital sense where it's on my Switch anytime I want to play it without having to pay $7 every month.
I think that was Nintendo trying to get with the times. People keep complaining about having to rebuy the game over and over again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But if you purchased it on the Wii and you downloaded it and it's still on your Wii and your Wii's fully functional, you can hook it up and you can play the game. But see, the way that Nintendo is designing their business plan is they do not want you to have that capacity, because their business plan only allows, with this whole Nintendo Online feature, it only allows you access when you keep up with the subscription. So once that subscription ends, they can easily cut you off from accessing those games. So I would say that the model that they had for the Wii Virtual Console is much more pro-consumer than the current model. And so even though, like you said, you have to buy them over and over again if you want, but you don't necessarily have to if you have it on the Wii and your Wii's good to go. You can just hook up your Wii and there's your 20 plus Virtual Console titles.
What about the Wii U's Virtual Console?
Now that's still running. How much longer it's going to run, I don't know. I think I could be wrong because I don't own a Wii U. So full disclaimer. But I believe you can transfer some, if not all, your Wii Virtual Consoles onto the Wii U. But don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. Hopefully someone who's listening to this and knows more than I do can write in and set us straight. But that's one of the nice things, is at least you can compile it all onto one system. And you can continue to purchase things on the Wii Virtual Console. I'm sorry, the Wii U Virtual Console.
By the way, you were right. It was January 30th that the Wii would be completely unusable.
Oh.
Yeah, one day earlier. Sad.
Yeah.
Well, Windows,
it's
right?
Death of Sorry, what's up? I was about to say it's the death of a time. You know, it's the end of that chapter of video game Virtual Console. Wii Virtual.
I remember a very similar phenomenon when the original Xboxes online went away. People still playing Halo 2.
Yeah, people wouldn't get off the servers. And I don't think Microsoft anticipated that. I don't know the full details behind that story, but if I remember, Microsoft was kind of caught off guard.
Oh, Microsoft before video games. They were in a market where nobody liked to look back. Nobody was holding on to their old outdated TVs. Although I still have them. Mainly because I'm a pack rat. And also hooking up old systems to modern TVs looks terrible in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a common complaint.
I still got me old box one I used as a kid to watch cable. Not that I watch cable anymore and I don't even have it.
Yeah, nor do I. I haven't had cable in years.
So yeah, online purchases is pretty much the only way to do PC gaming nowadays. Not many people are looking for those huge boxes. Unless they're collectible, in which case everyone's looking for them. Although I still have a disk drive on. I built this PC, I kept a disk drive because I'm petty. Although here's a fun fact, Windows 10 wants you to pay extra to watch DVD movies.
Really?
Yeah, but I did find, their built-in video player doesn't do it unless you buy this app. But I did find a video player, which is a 5K player, which does play them.
What about VLC? Will that not play DVDs on Windows 10?
I'm not sure. It might try to, but there's something trying to stop it.
Huh. I didn't know that. That's news to me. But then again, I don't typically try to watch DVDs on my computer. I'm one of these crazy people who still has a DVD player.
I was at the Walmart the other day. You know, Blu-ray DVD players now also have Hulu and Netflix and YouTube built onto them.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
I'm just like, dang, they're not even trying to compete.
Yeah. Oh, since you mentioned the computers now not having CD players, the one I purchased did not have a CD DVD ROM drive. That's just the way things are going now. I know a lot of laptops don't have them, but part of my move to getting new computers, I kind of wanted to downsize. I had this big bulky thing, which was like the computer I built, and it worked well, and I enjoyed it. But I was just trying to downsize and just free up some space. So basically, I just gutted it. I'm parting it out, and I bought this Intel Nook. It's literally about 4 inches by 4 inches, by maybe 3 inches tall, and it's great. It's super fast. It's got an i7 in it, but it doesn't have a CD drive. So I do have an external CD drive. It doesn't have room for any type of
Oh.
3.5 inch hard drives. It has room for one solid state drive and an M.2 drive. And so what I did is I purchased one of those enclosures because I still have hard drives that I've had probably at least one of them is about 10 years old, if not older. And so I still keep them around. And so if I ever need to access the data in those, I can just put it in the enclosure and then hook it up to the Intel Nook, and it's good to go.
You know, it'd be funny is if you put a floppy drive on it.
Oh, hey, I've got an external USB floppy drive, man.
So do
Oh,
I. I found it at a Goodwill.
yeah, those things are handy.
It was a joke you could build this super powerful thing that doesn't have discs, but it has a floppy drive.
Hey, quick question.
Ooh.
Were you at, we're kind of changing tracks here, but it does relate to something you mentioned. Were you at MagFest?
No, sadly I couldn't go.
Okay, because after I got back, CF was telling me how you were there. And I was like, he was?
No, I wanted to go, but I couldn't. It just happened at an inconvenient time for me.
Uh,
I only had 2 vacation days left, so I'd have to like leave early, go late that night, and
no.
also I just moved at December, so I didn't have a lot of disposable income.
I know, I totally understand. I just would have felt bad if you were there the whole time and I didn't even reach out.
Well, if I did show up, I would have reached out. That's
Okay, good.
I wanted to go, I couldn't, sadly. Sorry, CF.
Yeah, that's a shame. It would have been great to see you there.
I pretty much had to spend all my extra income just on the down payment and the security deposit, first month's rent and security deposit for this new place.
Oh, I gotcha.
At least this place at least seems like a keeper, so I won't be moving every year anymore.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. So back onto something you mentioned, the USB floppy drive. For MagFest, I got a bunch of old floppy disks, and I just put kind of random shareware and freeware on these disks, like old school DOS stuff. And so I had, I don't know, maybe close to 30 of these discs. And then at MagFest, I just put them on a table and put a little sticky saying, take one. And they were labeled, DOS freeware, DOS shareware. And I want to say within a couple hours, they're all gone.
You ever have a Blu-ray drive, though?
Oh, I do not have a Blu-ray drive.
Yeah, I cheaped out. Just got the DVD CD.
Yeah.
Remember when those were two separate disc things?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. But, hey, how you liking the Windows now? Windows 10?
Well, I mean, like I said, I've used it before. I use it at work, and then I've had it previously on my other computer, but I just dual booted. So mostly I was just using Windows 10 to play Magic the Gathering online because I could not get that thing to work in Linux, despite people on the internet saying they could get it to work in Linux. And I want to say there was probably a couple other games I played on Windows 10 that I just couldn't get to work in Linux.
Yeah, here's a lesson. Just because someone online pulls off something doesn't mean it's feasibly possible for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a straight up lie. Or just could be
Or
due to.
Or they're people with just some crazy weird skill.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been a different distribution. It's most likely due to my limited knowledge of getting things to work. But it's nice to have one operating system and everything there. And it's fast. My computer boots up at least twice as fast as my Manjaro computer, despite having lesser specs. It's I want to say this one has like 8 gigabytes of RAM, and the other one had at least 16, if not 32 gigabytes of RAM. The processors are similar, but I think my old processor was a little bit faster. I, but this one's just doing great, and there's been very little headache.
Better than 8.
Yeah, I don't really like 8 that much.
8.1 fixed some issues, but I'm just
Uh,
glad I
wh-
got the start menu back.
yes, of course.
They call it the Windows key now, I guess.
hmm What's your favorite version of Windows? Since we're talking about Windows,
Either 7 or 10, probably.
really? Why is that?
I mean, my first computer that I remember was like either a Windows 95 or 98, and the one I had for most of my early days was a 98, and then later we got an XP, and I was like, this is Uber. Vista was whatever. And finally we get 7, and it just felt like a nice comfort of XP, but with betterness.
Yeah, 7 was
Also,
good.
also, 7 was the last one before they tried to embrace the touchscreen interface.
Right, that's true.
Every website, whenever they tried to switch to a touchscreen interface, everyone complains about it. Especially Google and YouTube, you know?
Windows 7 is what Vista should have been.
Probably.
Uh,
It's kind of the meme where Windows gets every other version, right?
yeah. I'm partial to Windows XP. I love Windows XP.
The Windows 2000 wasn't that much different than 98, I don't think.
Well, the big jump there was Windows 98 was the last one to basically have a foundation of DOS. Because I think the Windows basically ran on DOS. And Windows 98 was the last one to do that.
The one update I loved the most about 7 was probably having the search button on the start menu there.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm losing files all the time, and just, yep, there it is. I don't know. 10 does have little things I like that built-in game recorder for Steam, you know.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Do you use it much?
Actually, yes, I do. I used it in my Walls and Gromit Let's Play with Hano.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It actually works pretty well, although I've got like a black bar because this monitor I have is a 16 by 10. I got it from my brother, who just liked that 1 extra inch of vertical space.
So is this an older brother or a younger brother?
My older brother. I only have one older brother, but he's a huge computer buff.
I gotcha. Is that kind of what his job revolves around?
No, it's just a hobby.
Oh, all right.
He was never able to pursue a career in computers.
Gotcha.
Though he did go from like having 3 monitors, like one was ultra wide, one was 16 by 10, one was just huge, and then he replaced them all with just one big TV. Have everything open in Windows and scatter them across.
Yeah. I remember one time I went into this guy's room and he just had like the biggest computer monitor I'd ever seen. It looked like a big screen TV, like a flat screen. And this was when flat screens were like relatively new. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And there he is playing World of Warcraft, back when World of Warcraft kind of like first came out. And this, I don't know, 72-inch screen.
Those big screens are great for games, not so good for writing up articles.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh boy. But I do keep mine connected to my main TV, as well as a little monitor.
Okay, I gotcha. That's where the DVD and Blu-rays are coming in.
Yeah, kinda. Also, sometimes I will just have the Hulu or something on the big TV and just be playing a game on this monitor. Yeah, I'm one of those people who's always watching a video while they're playing a game.
I used to do that. Back where I used to live, I had it set up like perfectly where my computer was kind of in a corner. So on one side, I had my computer with, my keyboard and all that good stuff. And then on the other side, I had a TV that actually had like cable and a DVD player and probably even a VHS player. So I used to be able to watch TV while I played a game. And Minecraft, I used to do that with Minecraft. And I would watch like Pawn Stars and what's that other History Channel show? American Pickers.
Yeah, it's been a bunch. American Pickers, American Restoration, Counting Cars.
No, this is before Counting Cars and American Restoration. This was back when like Pawn Stars and I think American Pickers had like just come out. It was those two, and I was playing Minecraft alpha version on my computer. Those were the days.
When I was super into Minecraft, I watched through every season of Power Rangers while playing it, and I built an underwater city. Dang it!
Yeah, it's one of those games. It's like playing with Legos. It's almost mindless.
Yeah, I used to have a server. It's gone now, but I did download the map before that happened. So anyone who used to play on it, want to walk around it, I got you back.
Nice.
And now there's Hytale, which I'm actually very excited for.
Oh, what is this?
You know the Hyperpixel guys?
No.
It's one of the biggest Minecraft servers, Hyperpixel. Well, they're making a game called Hytale, which looks very similar to Minecraft, but a lot more, and everyone's instantly saying,
Huh.
"Oh, this will be the Minecraft 2." It's got the blocky graphics, but it's also got like farming and writing on creatures and boss battles and stuff. Just from this
Cool.
2 minutes thing. I'll show it to you after this.
That sounds interesting.
And there's already interviews with Notch on what he thinks of it.
Does he still make games anymore?
I don't know. He does. No one cares about his other stuff, though.
He used to have this card game. What was it?
He
Scrolls.
he did make this like 2D mine. It's like isometric 2D Minecraft thing. He made it like just for a contest.
Huh.
I think
Did you ever hear
that?
Did you ever hear of Scrolls? It's like a card game.
No.
That was actually a lot of fun, but for whatever reason, I think it went under. Yes, search it up on like what? Surely Wikipedia has something on it. But Notch developed it.
Notch, good old Notch. Sold it to Microsoft. You know, the Better Together update that split the community.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to abandon all the console versions except PS4 because Sony refused to take part in it.
Oh, fun.
That's because to do that, people would have to sign into their Xbox Live on PlayStation, and there's no way in hell Sony was gonna let that go through. Guess why?
Why?
Because they're competitors. Yeah, well, that's the topic for anyone who played console versions. Now, everyone except PS4 stopped getting updates unless you use the Bedrock version, which is the Pocket Edition that they're trying to make the main one now. There's a Windows 10 Minecraft and a Java Minecraft.
Oh, right, I see. Yeah, I've only played the Java version, but I haven't really played Minecraft much recently.
Well, that means you have a free copy of the Windows 10 version.
Oh, sweet.
That's what they did. It's weird. It's like trying to be compatible on every version. Every platform, like consoles, mobile, and computers. So it supports controllers on the computer.
I see. Yeah, there's a Switch version.
Yep, the Switch version, which was almost immediately abandoned to put the Bedrock. That's what they call this new one on Switch.
There's probably a graphing calculator version too.
Maybe.
For all those people still in high school.
Oh no, you can just play it on a smartphone now.
Oh, I suppose that's true. I forgot about that.
The Pocket Edition.
I missed the
Pocket Edition is Microsoft's version of it that's almost the same but has a bunch of noticeable differences. And they're trying to make that the main one now.
I'm kind of glad I got out of grade school before like Facebook and smartphones. I don't know. It just seems so detrimental
Yeah.
to young people.
I was in middle school when MySpace was the big thing.
Oh yeah, I remember MySpace.
It's still there, just you can sign into it with Facebook.
I kind of thought of it as more of like a band website. It's like you start a band and then you get a MySpace.
Well, that's what it is now, but it used to be what Facebook is today.
Yeah. Well, there was always Friendster.
Yeah, it used to be cool. You used to be able to put custom playlists and stuff on MySpace.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
GeoCities.
I stopped using social media too much because everything you post on there gets called out by someone.
Yeah.
Usually my dad.
Yeah, I was on Facebook for a few years, like around when it kind of came out, and then I stopped, and that was years ago. That was over a decade ago,
Ugh.
and I don't regret that decision.
Oh, computers. Yeah, if you just deactivate on my Facebook, it stays there. To actually get it completely removed, you gotta call them. They'll give you like 2-week wait notice and ask you, "Are you sure?" a few times.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Facebook really doesn't want people to leave. No matter how long you left it deactivated, you could still log in and everything will come right back.
Wow, that's kind of scary.
Yep. I used to have fake Facebooks I used for the games. Yeah, I'm ashamed I used to play those. One of them recently got hacked by something Chinese and reactivated.
Wait, what was this for?
Facebook games, I used to play those, sadly. To advance in them, they want you to drag friends into it, but I didn't want to do that, so I just made fake accounts. Yeah, one of them that I deactivated years ago got reactivated and was completely changed to Chinese.
Oh, that's great.
Then I tried to get it back, and we both got locked out, so now it's just sitting there. I cannot get into it because their ways of recovering are stupid. Do it on the last PC, which was not me that logged in on that one, thanks. Or have 5 friends on your list, go to this facebook.com/recover thing. Great. How many people are on there? Like 20-something? No, that's not happening. Yep, there's a fake me out there, which is real me, but not me. Isn't that fun?
Oh, you have a twin. You have like
Eh,
an evil twin.
that's just a thing. No matter how long you leave it, it could still get hacked and reactivated.
Yeah, my iTunes account got hacked back in the day. That was
Yep.
awesome.
Did they download a whole bunch of songs? Charge up your credit?
Uh, no, actually, I think it was part of some other scheme because I think they stole a credit card and then they stole my account and they used the stolen credit card on my account. Because when I remember I was probably on the phone for close to an hour with Apple, like trying to figure this out. And then they were telling me that my credit card would no longer be usable on the iTunes store. And I'm like, okay. And then once I kind of sat down and thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, that wasn't my credit card. And it was just this really weird thing. And I called the credit card agency and stuff. And I don't know, that was years ago. But it sounds like it was a Chinese hacker because they tried to buy something that was in what I think was like Mandarin or some East Asian language.
Yeah, no. When that happens, first thing I do is get my credit card deactivated.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, well, it was someone's credit card.
Someone
Sorry to
else
what.
put their credit card in your account?
No, I think they stole that person's credit card and used my account to use it.
Supposedly, there's a website you can go to steal credit card information for like $5.
It's the world we live in.
Yep. Sometimes the companies will pay it off just so you don't notice and cancel.
Huh.
Well, that's what some say, at least. Who knows how true it is?
So, just a quick update. I was doing some research as we were talking about the game Scrolls. Remember I mentioned that? I was like, hey, Notch developed this other game. It's called Scrolls. Well, they changed the name. It's Caller's Bane. So apparently Notch got like sued by Bethesda because Scrolls implied Elder Scrolls. I don't know. That
Yeah,
seems kind of silly to me.
Bethesda has been trying to trademark the word scrolls for a while.
Yeah, but he didn't call it Elder Scrolls. That's just like if he called the game Elder. Would they sue him then? I mean, he just used a single word. In any case, it looks like they kind of changed the name, or it's like Scrolls Caller's Bane, but they emphasized the Caller's Bane portion.
Not the first time Bethesda went after people for using the word scrolls in a title, and it won't be the last either.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
It's just Bethesda for you. Which makes me wonder, how much gaming do you do on the PC, really? Because that's actually one thing that keeps me on consoles is companies like Ubisoft especially that keep trying to make you use their special launchers, and they don't always work too well.
Yeah, I pretty much refuse to use any launchers besides Steam.
Anything Ubisoft, they want you to use Uplay.
Yeah. I had a Uplay. Wait, no, was it Uplay?
Oh, GameStop's got one too, by the way.
Oh, great. No, I don't want to deal with that. I miss the days when I could just buy a game at a store and then put it in my computer and play it.
Yeah, you can still do that with consoles. That's one of the reasons I stick with them.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've actually been playing a Game Boy Advance game mostly the last few weeks. It's a popular title, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. It's an amazing game. Highly recommended to anyone who's interested in tactical / strategy type RPGs.
Oh, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
What, Final Fantasy Tactics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except when Pro Jared goes on his Final Fantasy tangents.
Oh man, I haven't seen his videos in a coon's age. He makes some pretty good stuff too.
Yeah. Although Kaiser won't be happy you said that.
Oh, what's wrong with Pro Jared?
Oh, he just doesn't like anyone popular. That's not true. He just has a gripe with normal boots and hidden block. I think because hidden block was their tagline, the next generation of game reviewers made him feel old, he said.
Isn't he like the same age as those guys though?
Nah, they're like 3-4 years younger than us. Kaiser's only 1 year older than me.
Huh. Pro Jared I thought was about my age.
I don't know. Bro, Jared, how old are you? With your very long last name that's hard to remember. Jared Ben Barr.
This makes great radio.
Yeah. How old are you, mister? Oh my gosh, you're right. He was born in 85.
Yeah.
Looks good for his age.
Yeah, he does look a little bit younger than I didn't think he was that old. I thought he was a few years younger, but still, it was around that.
He's 33, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, he's the pretty boy in Asagawa Academy, if you played that.
Huh. Nope.
Some fan made a dating Sims game for the Normal Boots cast. Put them all in high school. You play a girl named, what was it, Anna or something? Yeah. It's a good game. It's actually done pretty well. It's just, I don't like to date. I don't want to play a game where I'm dating men, so.
What games have you been playing?
Lately, I've been playing a lot of Dynasty Warriors 9. That game just always keeps you busy. It's one of those games everyone hates, but I like. Although I've also put in Dark Cloud on PS2, if you ever remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
Doing that backlog thing CS doing. And I got a PS3 that plays PS2 games now, so I popped it in there. And
Oh, you have an old school PS3?
Took a while to get one, but yeah, I got it.
Nice. Was it worth the wait?
It's nice. It's also got more ports on it, like 4 USBs, I think, and some little other slide of connectors. I don't know what they do.
Huh.
Works pretty well, mostly, except like random games like Soul Reaver 2, which I think it's being emulated and have a game-breaking glitch in it.
So, do you think that now is a good time to collect for the PS3?
You may as well. It's really cheap. It's like not old enough to be considered retro, but not modern enough to be considered relevant.
Right.
PlayStation, well, PS2 and 3 especially have been pretty cheap to collect for.
Yeah, PS2 has been pretty consistently cheap.
Yeah, there's a number
of
reasons. Now. Most of the good games you can get digitally, and also they sold so well back in the day. There's copies everywhere.
Yeah.
Want to get back into it? Those are the ones to go for, or even 360.
So, what games did you recommend for the PS3? If you're speaking to people who want to get back into it.
Besides the obvious picks, Ratchet and Clank, and God of War, I guess. These Valkyria Chronicles are pretty fun. They're sort of like spiritual successors to Shining Force, except with guns and stuff. It's got a story that is definitely not World War II because it's the Empire. Yakuza 3, 4, and 5, I think, were on it. Anyone remembers Yakuza? It's hard to think off the top of my head. Oh, yeah, the infamous 1 and 2 especially. Heard of those?
The infamous 1 and 2?
Yeah.
No, I'm not familiar with those.
One of those open world superhero sandbox games. You can play a guy with electric powers.
Huh, okay. Oh, wait. No. I think I've never played them, but I think I vaguely know what you're talking about. I think I remember advertisements for them. Or at least the cover. Let me see. I'm going to look it up right now. Okay. We're on the air. We're pulling a CF.
Yeah, because that's how we do it now, and I'm pretty sure CF's the one most into this. Shout outs, critical failure.
Shout outs to all our one viewer or listener.
Hurtful.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, I'm messing with you.
It's fine.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I saw this, maybe I didn't, but I'm looking at screenshots.
Mercenaries 2 is a pretty rare, is a odd one. It's a sequel to that game that was on original Xbox on PS2. Sadly, it's a buggy game. Like the online thing doesn't really work at all, but it is fun. It's a lot of fun. Like at one point, you'll call reinforcements on a helipad. They'll all come out one by one, run right off the helipad, fall 3 feet, and die.
What game is this?
In Mercenaries 2.
Mercenaries 2.
Oh yeah, it's one of those sandbox games. You get to shoot stuff in it.
Can you still download from the PSN?
Yeah, that still works.
Even on PS3?
Yep, they have not discontinued that yet. It still does pretty well. And see, the Metal Gear Solid collection was on PS3 and also Vita. Yeah, that was fun to do that cross-save thing. Like the Final Fantasy X HD, I was cross-saving, played the same file on PS3 and my Vita.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Vita looks like a really nice system.
It really is. It just sadly got abandoned too soon.
Yeah.
But some people make games for it. We actually got a few review codes on Emerald Rangers for Vita games.
Nice.
That reminds me, I'm supposed to be working on one at some point. Yep. I don't know. Uncharted is pretty much considered the staple of PS3.
Right, yeah. There's like 3 of them.
More on later systems, I think.
There's this game I used to have for the 360, back when I had a 360. And it's probably my favorite game for the 360 that I owned, which was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Ooh, that was also on Wii.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was just 360 and PS3. And then 360, for whatever reason, they took it off their marketplace.
That's sad.
Yeah, so
yes.
I don't, it's like a retro styled game. It's like River City Ransom, basically. It's like updated River City Ransom with great music. I have the soundtrack, and it was done by Anna Monoguchi.
Uh,
It
I'm
was
on,
just a great all-around game.
I think it's still on PSN because it's on their website.
Yeah, I would if it goes on sale or you have some money to burn, I would recommend it to you. I think you might like it.
I remember seeing reviews when it first came out. Yes, but yeah, PS3. Let's see,
Do you have any PS1 games on your PS3 that you like downloaded?
I used to, not much though. But even later versions of PS3 still played PS1 discs.
Right, like
I
the
played.
version you have, yeah.
Doesn't matter really which version you have. The PS1 never went away. It's
Oh, it
compatible.
did. Okay.
Just PS2 did after the first run.
Even like the newest of the PS3s, they'll play PS1 games?
I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I never heard of any of them taking it out. Probably because PS1 was much easier to emulate.
But you can still purchase some really like high dollar games, like Suikoden 2, you can probably get what for $10, $8 on the PSN.
Don't you have a PSN? There's an app for it. How do you spell that? Sweet.
I don't know if I'm saying it right. That's just how I say it. It's Suikoden or Suikoden, Suikoden.
Yeah, PS3, PlayStation Vita, and PSP. Oh, Walmart, you have it? Yeah, it's $5.99 on PSN.
Oh, it's showing up as $9.99 over
PlayStation
here.
Classic.
Yeah, it says PS1 Classic. On the PlayStation Store, $9.99. That's for Suikoden or Suikoden 2.
Oh, 2. I'm looking at 1.
Oh, 2's the one that's really expensive. A physical copy.
Yeah, a lot of PlayStation 1 games went up in value for some reason.
Whoa, you can even download it on the PSP. That's pretty cool.
PSP did play PS1 games pretty well. Just, the analog stick was kind of an issue.
Yeah.
They had improvised controls for some of them. The Vita would probably be the one I recommend if you want to do that stuff mobily. I love my Vita. Good battery life, feels good. You can get this like grip thing to make it feel like a controller.
And you can play the same save like on the go. That's pretty sweet.
You gotta. It's not like cloud. You gotta be next to the PS3 to switch it back and forth, but that only takes a minute.
Yeah.
I did that with both Metal Gear Solid Collection and Final Fantasy X. They release the same games on Vita and PS3 sometimes. I don't think 4 does that a little.
I did not realize they were still supporting the PSP.
They're still supporting PSN, is what it is, and anything that's compatible still works.
Sure.
That's how Sony does it, I guess. They just have one universal thing.
I was really disappointed in how they put out the PlayStation Classic. I think a lot of people are.
Oh, that's been quite the talk for a while.
Yeah. I know that's not any big news, but one thing I think that they could have really stepped out amongst the crowd by putting the PSN on their PS1 Classic, because that way, release your 20 games, your 25 games. Okay, yeah, they're not the greatest games in the world, but there are some gems on it. I mean, hey, you've got Final Fantasy VII on there. But if you give them the access to the store, then that allows people to purchase games from the PSN. They want Suikoden 2. Just download it, put it on your PlayStation Classic.
I think that would make it pretty much a PlayStation TV then, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
The PlayStation TV is a fun way to play Vita games on the TV.
Can you still buy that?
What, a TV? Yeah.
PlayStation TV?
It's how Retro Kaiser captures footage for Vita games.
Really?
Yeah. You can buy it online somewhere. It still works. Persona 4 Golden on Vita justified that system for me. Put like 500 plus hours into it.
Wow.
That's one thing I also liked about those handhelds. You can just hit the button, put it on standby, play any game in short bursts. You know what I mean?
That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm looking up PlayStation TVs right now on eBay. Let's see how much they're going for here.
They're still fairly expensive, but
it's not. I mean, it's not horrible.
Cheaper than a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, it's less than $100. This one's went for $90. This one went for $85. I have another one that went for about $110.
You can get a brand new one for $155.
Here's a brand new one for about $120.
Oh gosh, we've become spokesmen for Sony.
Well, I'm just saying they're still around. You can still get it.
It's a handy little device.
And hey, they wanted to market the PlayStation Classic as like $100, right? MSRP originally.
I think it like instantly went down. Oh look, there's even Lego bundles for PlayStation TV.
Let's see what Amazon's selling the PlayStation Classic for these days. $54. Down
Yep.
from 100.
Yeah, it wasn't doing too well. Lazy
Wow.
Game Review made his own. He used a 3D printer to get a PlayStation-like shell and put a Raspberry Pi on it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Shoutouts to you, even though you're never going to listen to us.
We're
Oh
the
boy.
underground. The underground podcast.
Superstar. I guess, yeah, PlayStation TV is... this might be a stretch, but it's kind of like a Steam box for PSN, I guess.
That's what it sounds like. I don't know. If
That's the one
that's
downside, though, is Microsoft owns Windows, so Xbox Live works like cross save. Yeah, Roblox, I had the same save file playing on Xbox One and Windows 10. I don't think PlayStation can do that, though.
yeah,
I only used Roblox because that's the only game I tried it on. I only owned an Xbox One for a short period of time, and Roblox was like free on it.
So I've got a question for you. Since we're talking a little bit about Sony and about the PlayStation, if you could make game suggestions, if you were in on designing and developing the PlayStation Classic, what games would you recommend to put on there?
Man, that's putting me on the spot.
I know I was about to say I'm kind of putting them on the spot, but
well, a lot of my answers will be the same as everyone else's. One thing, I would have done the analog controller because the D-pad hurts your thumb after a while on the original PlayStation controller.
Agree.
Probably the obvious would be like Spyro and Crash. I think one of those was on there.
No, I don't think either of those were on there, on the ones that came out.
Well, I would have at least gone off the bestseller list. Or at least put a later version of Tekken. I don't really like Tekken, but I know 1 is still the worst one.
They put Tekken 3 on there.
Did they?
Yeah, it sounds like we need to read off the list here. I've got the list. All right. So we have Battle Arena Toshinden, Final Fantasy VII, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Ridge Racer Type 4, Resident Evil, Revelations, Persona, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Tekken 3, Wild Arms, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Grand Theft Auto, Oddworld, Rayman, Siphon Filter, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, and Twisted Metal.
I didn't play a lot of PS1 back in the day, sadly.
Okay.
It's hard to tell which games they'd have to get licensed for all over again. Maybe I would have put Soul Reaver on there. That would have made it worth it. I mean, one of the things about the SNES Classic was having those super expensive games on there, like Earthbound.
Yeah, I mean, Intelligent Cube is pretty expensive. Jumping Flash, I think, can get up there in price. I want to say it's like a $25 game.
The best-selling game for PS1 was Gran Turismo, really? And Gran Turismo 2 was the third best. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't have any Gran Turismos. That's a shame.
Final Fantasy 9's a pretty underrated title.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like the developer's personal favorite, but it's the one everyone kind of missed because they just went straight for the 10 with the talking. I remember, I didn't like 8. Did it only have 7 on there?
Oh, yeah, just 7.
That makes sense, but I still think it should have had 9. Show someone that game. It's actually like a 3D one that's a throwback to the classics with 4 party members and likable characters.
Yep. I have to correct myself. It looks like Jumping Flash is closer to like $60, not $25. I'm looking it up right now, so it can get a little pricey.
Pricing is what as it does. So yeah, that's a heck of a tall story. I'm stuttering for some reason. That's classic podcasting, going all over the place.
Yeah.
I can see your instincts kicked in. I should thank you for that. That's the classic talks we've been missing.
Well, I do what I can.
What have you been up to besides this?
A lot of work. Trying to do some stuff with my tropical fish. As I might have mentioned to Sindhu before, that's kind of like my other hobby is fish keeping, also tropical plants, like underwater aquatic plants.
You name every fish?
I can name every type of fish, but I don't have a name for each individual fish, if that's the question. Okay. And so I've been spending time dealing with that, spending time dealing with this new computer thing, trying to clean up around the house, trying to take care of my kid, doing the families thing. So it's
Uh,
keeping me busy. And then, like I mentioned, playing a little bit of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance on the side.
yep, Final Fantasy.
Well, what's nice about that is I can just play it on my DS. And so, if my wife wants to watch television or if I'm listening to a podcast, I can just, kind of turn that on wherever I'm at and
Yeah.
play. I don't have
No,
to. Oh, go.
sorry.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying I don't really have to worry about, okay, I need, you know, 2 hours of my own time in front of the television and got to make sure everything's hooked up and all right, let's go. And then you're constantly like interrupted. It's just one of those things. I can just close the DS, get up, deal with whatever I need to deal with, and come back, finish my turn, or finish one mission, save it, and then be done with it. So that's what makes it kind of convenient. And I also really like that game.
My very first way of listening to podcasts was on the PSP.
Oh yeah,
I'd actually use its internet browser, download the MP3 right on the system, and just play it right off there.
nice. I remember this podcast I used to listen to. It was actually one of my first, like video game podcasts. I remember they were complaining because they're like, whoever is downloading our podcast with a PSP is jacking up our statistics because for whatever reason, the PSP would like download it in like small little bits. And so even though it was just one person downloading the file, it looked like it was downloaded 100 times.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. That's how they described it. I don't know if that's true, if they were exaggerating or what, but they got kind of worked up with, and they said it was because the PSP downloaders. How that happened, how they knew that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty neat though. It's like before smartphones, that PSP's web browser, man. That was interesting. Couldn't stream videos though. Unless you hacked it, then it could do something.
You could like load videos onto it.
Yeah, you could download videos. There used to be a website, like for YouTube specially, to download videos off the PSP.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's still up. Probably not. PSPtube.com, or was it? PSPtube. You'd find a video in their search, wait a few minutes for it to download, and then find out it didn't get corrupted. It would like work half the time, unless you went low quality. Then it always worked, but then it's low quality.
Did it ever like desync the voice with the video?
No, actually, when it actually did work, the video looked great. PSP
Really?
had a really good video player.
Huh, well, nice.
Like watching a movie on it, yeah.
I wish I had a PSP back in its heyday.
I got it, the very first one that came with Spider-Man 2. It's weird how so many PlayStation systems came with Spider-Man. Like, what was it? Spider-Man 3 came with the PS3 for a while, I think.
Huh.
Yeah, my first smartphone came with the movie Avatar. That was dumb. I watched about half an hour of that and was like, done.
Huh.
But yeah, I actually did watch Spider-Man 2 for the first time on my PSP with those earbuds it came with, and it looked and sounded pretty good. But yeah, UMD discs cost more than DVDs, so no one bought them. Movies, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Like those Game Boy Advance movies. Remember those?
Yeah. Yeah, you can watch SpongeBob SquarePants on your like 2-inch by 2-inch screen.
That's the thing, Yeah, that's something everyone kind of glances over. PSP, widescreen.
Yeah, it definitely had a better screen than the Game Boy Advance.
And the DS was out at the time, yeah.
So what games have you been playing?
You already asked that.
Oh, wait.
Dark Cloud and...
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, you're right. I did ask that.
Oh, man. Whew. How you feeling? Feel burned out?
I guess so, if I'm already asking the same question.
Yeah, it's been an hour and 6 minutes. Wow. It's pretty impressive.
Oh, good. I hope this was worthwhile.
It was. Let's try to end with the same topic, at least. Windows. It's what you gotta use.
Well, it's what you got to use if you're lazy. I'll put it that way.
Or if you don't have the free time. It's not lazy to have to be busy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you want to shout out anything you're doing right now? Plug yourself?
Nah, I'm plugless. Just listen to Sindhu, listen to TCR. I don't know. There's a whole string of people in that community. And one thing I do want to plug, since you mentioned it, is I'm trying to get the retro junk box off. Trying to really jumpstart this idea. We've been talking about it for months. Well,
The juice bar.
yeah, I mean, by talking about it, I mention it once like a month. Maybe I'm the only one talking about it, but I want to get a box that's basically a priority shipping, standardized. I'm trying to think of the word. It's a set rate. So basically, everyone pays the same amount to ship it, no matter how much it weighs, within reason. And so the idea is to fill it up with things you don't use anymore. Mostly retro slash gaming related. Like be anything from action figures to old PS2 games or NES games, SNES. You name it, you put it in, and then you ship it off to the next person. The next person opens it up, and then they kind of pick up a few things that they like. They take it, and then they fill it up with things that they aren't using, and then it kind of goes on from one person to the next. And I was really trying to have at least 5 people, and I think I have 5 people now if you include myself.
Yes, I got your list right here. You posted 8 days ago.
Yes, I've been posting on the the Juice Bar forums. So please, if you are interested, post there. Sindhu, I know you've been moving back and forth, but I noticed your name's not on there. So if you want to jump on it, you can be another person, because it's the more people, the more fun it is, I think.
I can maybe get the next go around.
All right.
I don't know.
I'm hoping to have this sent out sometime in February.
Yep.
So,
Tecmo Balls, Desm 101, Critical Failure, Saga, and you. That's on the list. And and if you're wondering, the Juice Bar is the shared forums between the Emerald Rangers, which is me, Tiger Claw, and the next round. If you want to join that link, feel free. These are forums that I pay for, so they're embeddable and there's no ads on them, and they will not go away from inactivity.
Sweet. Yeah. Jump on the Juice Bar.
Which I really got a Juice. Yep. Oh, Junk Box. That's how you got Juice Box.
Oh, yeah. The retro junk box. Yeah.
I might just add my name to that if I find some stuff I want to throw around.
Yeah. We can always ship it to you last if you need more time. Because I haven't quite sorted out the order of where it's going.
And whoever's last either gets the best or the worst stuff. It's all right.
Yeah. Well, I think since I'm starting it, I'll get it last because I'm the one who's putting everything in at the beginning. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to get the best stuff at the end.
Ooh, we could all do a video about it. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice if people, post pictures of the stuff that they found in the box. But don't post what you're going to put in, because then it's got to be a surprise for the next person.
Maybe I'll throw in an AV cable just to be funny.
There you go.
A brand new one I ordered that I didn't need.
Yeah.
Whew. So yeah, there's no mailbag this week because it's being recorded before the episode 3 goes up. That's scheduling conflicts on my part and blah blah blah. I hit my head and wasn't able to do stuff. That's life for you, right?
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, I'm good as long as I don't lean on my left. Well, once again, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, man. It was fun.
Yep, this is the Fastcast. A name I just wanted that because it rhymes with podcast. Let's say it. Having a blast?
On the Fastcast.
Close enough. Bye.
See ya.